Fit for Life Radio, episode number 118. Here we are in the middle of February, post Super Bowl.
58 degrees currently.
What's the wind?
The wind chill?
Mile per hour.
Oh, it is
in direction.
5 miles per hour northwest.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did. Whole thing.
What was your favorite commercial?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to ask me that. Damn, I don't know if I remember any commercials.
Any that stood out? I don't think
I feel like they used to, but now with the internet and how much we see, like nothing like impresses me as much anymore because I'm so desensitized. All the memes, they bring your, I don't know, your enjoyment of things like that down. They really do.
Every day is like 40,000 commercials.
Yeah, I just see them all day, every day, and then I see it on TV, and I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah. It was a good game, though.
It was the game I was hoping for overall. Like either guy, I was like, whoever wins, I'm cool. But I'm glad Stafford got it because he got the crap beat out of him for, 10, 11 years in Detroit. So I feel like he deserves something good. Now he can retire. Just be done, man. That dude's been beat up for forever.
What'd you eat?
Wings. Oh, okay. Well, actually, I did wings, just some hot wings in the air fryer. And then that was at the beginning, and I was like, man, I'm kind of still hungry. So then I made a New York strip. And I had that at like 8 o'clock. It was like 6 o'clock for the wings, 8 o'clock for the New York strip. And that was pretty much all I had. It was good. It was a good decision.
We, Alexis, so this will be a little lesson for everyone, too. Shows the food marketing. We still haven't done our episode on food marketing.
Nah, we should do it. That'll be a diabolical one.
So she, is type 1 diabetic. So when she watches, she does well with low carbs. And she wanted this pizza, right? Super Bowl. So she's like, I'm going to get a cauliflower crust pizza. And I think we were both thinking, like, you just think, oh, cauliflower crust. And, yeah, so it's going to be low carb. It's cauliflower, right? It's a vegetable. And went to Whole Foods, got some $8 cauliflower crust pizza. And went, to cook it. And we also got the other stuff, so she knew she was going to have that. And I was having, I was like making burgers, and I had ice cream and some other stuff. I don't know, whatever. And then she's looking at the box, and it's like 90 grams of carbs. And then I look at the ingredients.
What was the first ingredient?
The first ingredient was flour, and then in parentheses it says cauliflower flour and
whole wheat flour.
Like wheat flour and rice flour, and it's basically just a regular pizza.
And they just put cauliflower into it
with a dusting of cauliflower ground up cauliflower. And I was like, this is the biggest joke in all.
It is,
all
but the
land.
marketing, man, it you were like, oh, okay, this is fine. It's mostly cauliflower. We got a cauliflower crust once just because we were curious, like how is this? It was so greasy. It was real weird. Yeah. Like that crust itself felt like there was just a lot of fat in it.
Was it like the whole pizza? You got like the frozen cauliflower crust pizza?
No,
or just
we got just the crust,
okay.
and it was just strangely greasy, and it kind of
was
off-putting.
There maybe there was.
Yeah, there was. I mean, but it was just.
Yeah. Ugh. So then she was like, I'm not gonna,
I'm not gonna eat it,
and she doesn't do insulin. So it's not like she can balance it out, but she just likes to manage it by not having the insulin spikes. So I got to eat the whole pizza.
What did she eat?
I think she ended up having the regular. So I made her ground beef, and she has these like wraps, low carb wraps, and so like tacos. And
there you go.
We had some keto ice cream or something, but
yeah,
the pizza was. I mean, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because it
was
regular crust.
The thing. It was a frozen. It was good. It was good for frozen pizza. Yeah. The reality is, it was a $7, cauliflower crust. It was just as good as like a $3 regular, and same macronutrients, right?
And same ingredients minus cauliflower, probably. Have you guys done the pizza with the chicken crust, where you like pound out ground chicken or chicken breast?
I haven't done it with chicken. I've done it with ground beef.
Yeah,
the pizza.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
I would eat that.
So you do, but then we always end up sick to our stomachs because you're like, I'm eating this entire pizza because that's how your brain works.
And then you realize that.
And you just ate like 4 pounds of meat. And you're like, My stomach hurts.
It's clogged up.
Or I'm like really full.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so that'll be another episode we need to do.
Deceptive food marketing practices.
Today, we want to talk about why this is a common thing that we see over the years, decades now.
Absolutely.
And it plays well off of our last episode on priorities, which is why do we drop self-care? As oftentimes is the first thing to go as our maybe priorities have to shift or other stuff, or we get super stressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's you have a huge deadline at work or it's a peak season at work maybe, life stressors get in the way, you know, kids, school, family. And a lot of times we often default to let me cut anything I do for myself first, right? So our workouts, our attention to our eating, our nutrition habits, they just, we cancel them out.
Yeah. When in reality, you know, for most people, you know, those habits are great for our mental health, you know, for managing our stress and, you know, just keeping us feeling good. So when you take that away during a stressful time, and I'm not saying you need to keep it the same as it always is, but I think it can be a detriment that we don't realize.
Yeah. And I think it's realizing that typically when we get stressed or we have these other priorities in life, it's because we have to be at our best for these things, or we have to give these attention to these other things. And the reality is you want to give those things your best self. Yeah. And as humans, as people, we need a physical outlet. We need to exercise. It's important for our immune system, for being our best. It is literally a piece of that puzzle. So by cutting that out, you're actually making a higher risk. Now, what if that a higher risk that you're going to be at your worst now for these other responsibilities that are prioritizing? And the reality is, and we talk about this all the time, maybe we'll note some of the previous episodes, specific episodes, but about how you want to dial back.
Always.
You know, don't go from, you know, I'm normally working out. I'm go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week. Oh, these other things are taking precedent. I got to put all that on hold, right? And you go to zero.
Yeah.
But the reality is if you dial back to, say, 2 days a week, 45 minutes each, that's 90 minutes of your week. You're still going to get 90 to 95% of the benefits that you were even when you were training and eating, you know, more time dedicated to it. But again, by just dialing back, you still are going to get the massive benefits. But then if you cut out those last 90 minutes a week and go to zero,
you get no benefits.
You go from 95% of the benefits to zero.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we talk about a dimmer switch all the time on a myriad of things. You know, your nutrition, your workouts, really anything, your work. And it's important to learn how to turn that down, because if you turn it off for a period of time, chances are you're going to have a much harder time going back to those habits and your routine and whatnot. Whereas if you turn it down, you're still maintaining a base level, whether, you know, no matter how basic that is, and then you're able to turn it up because you still have your good foundation.
And the real catch to it is, and yes, one of the problems with turning it off is you start to lose out on some of the benefits of that, but also you're risking so much in that, also your habits and your mental state, right? Because if you then take a prolonged break, you are going to fall back on those things, and then mentally you may be, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be the same, and getting started is going to be harder. And you end up delaying and maybe starting that whole process over and losing that momentum that you have, which that momentum can then shift in the exact opposite direction. And now you have momentum for not doing any of it, for feeling bad about yourself.
And then the guilt associated with it. And generally, the longer we aren't doing something, the harder it is to start back up.
Yeah.
So.
And it just comes back down to, when other things like priorities shift, and again, go back and listen to the previous episode, do a time journal first. Hey, before maybe you're frustrated and overwhelmed and you just know that is something, that you can technically live without, but do a deep dive into your schedule, right? Hey, I need to free up time for school or spending time with others. Maybe that time is in your social media use or in watching TV, and you can cut those out before exercising, eating, self-care things that serve you.
Because we do, we matter. And I think we talk about people with this very often is that, when people are, especially when people are in like a caretaker mindset or, their parents or just have, a lot on their plate, they tend to put themselves last where, you need to be at your best for those people in your life. And sometimes that feels selfish, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to, quote unquote, be selfish in this case because you need to be at your best so you can perform in all those other important areas.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good reminder for people that it's not a bad thing to worry about yourself, even if it does feel that way.
And there's little things we don't think of, like how exercise helps our immune system and helps us prevent illness, right? So you're less likely to get sick, which means you're more likely to have more time to care for these other things by just having a little bit of exercise that boosts your immune system, decreases inflammation, improves cardiovascular and metabolic health.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out. If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
Enhances the response to vaccination. All these things are benefits of some exercise.
Yeah. I mean, your mental sharpness things like that, which, like affect all of your tasks, your work, everything. Some people will notice, like, when they're not exercising, they feel a little bit foggy when they're trying to perform things or they're at work, and it helps us with that clarity. Like, it's very good for your brain to do whatever type of physical activity that you do.
Yeah. You know what I notice is in the parlay effect of exercise. When I'm exercising, I'm more likely to eat well and to sleep better.
Yes.
So now we're getting indirect, but that habit of exercise keeps me on track with my nutrition, which obviously also has its own immune and health boosting benefits. And then that even doubles down into when I eat well and exercise, I sleep better. And then obviously
we know the sleep is just affects everything.
Good sleep. So that's where you start looking at it and you realize, man, even if those 2 days of staying, hey, I normally go 3 or 4, I'm just going to go 2. Not only is it about that 90 minutes, but you realize that 90 minutes keeps you on top of your nutrition, keeps your sleep well. So again, overall, your self-care universe stays solidly intact.
Yeah.
From 90 minutes a week of exercise,
which is not a lot,
right? So these habits like stack on each other, when the reality is, then if you just, hey, I'm going to cut out that 90 minutes and go to 0, we're probably, or I'll say myself, I know I would have less incentive and motivation to eat well.
Absolutely.
And then if I'm not exercising, eating like crap, snacking at night, I'm not going to sleep well.
Sleep's going to be garbage. And you're probably just not going to feel, overall, you're not going to feel as good.
So now my mood's off. All that's off. There's everything, all my other responsibilities. I'm going to be a fraction of my best.
Yeah.
For those things. And then you end up getting in a head funk where maybe now you're not even excited to do those.
Yeah. And I think it's just the cascading effect that we don't really think about. And if you want to put it in perspective, in 1 week, there's 10,080 minutes.
Yeah. And then subtract, in let's say 7 hours for sleep. So 7 days, 49.
Got you. So then that still leaves
3,000.
That still leaves 7 days. Oh,
that'd be 3,000 minutes.
Yeah. You're good. My math sucks.
Of sleep.
Yeah, and that still leaves us with what, 7,000 minutes?
Yeah.
And we're asking for 90. Round it up to 2 hours.
And really, you could do 60.
Two 30 minutes.
Yeah,
bro, you can do way more in 30 minutes than people think. Do your your base stuff, your most effective things, get out in 30 minutes and you're good.
Yep.
And there's plenty of people that have done that through time or continue to do that. I mean, you can even look at some very strong and fit individuals that through their training history have had to do that.
Yep.
And they do their important things. A couple, maybe they do their squats and their pressing and some rows and then get out. That's 3 exercises that you did basically all you need to do.
Yeah. And the hard part for us is we see, we've been working with people for years and years and years. And 9 times out of 10, when people stop, they come back and they learn the lesson the hard way and they regret it.
And we try our best. I mean, I'm sure it's like having kids. Like, you want them to not learn the hard way. But sometimes, I don't know, it's what people have to do.
Yep. And I think the roadblock to all this is people feel guilty for doing things for themselves, which is just a mindset you have to change. You have to embrace feeling selfish for doing things that put you at your best.
Yeah. And it sounds, might sound crazy to say that, but it really does help sharpen everything for you. It makes you prepared to take on whatever your day throws at you. So don't let it slip away.
That's self-care. And it's funny because we would never, to other people we love, animals we love,
Yeah.
you would never recommend.
They stop doing something that's good for them.
Yeah, and that makes them happy and feel good.
Mhm.
You would never, like your best friends, torn up, and having a rough go with something and stressed out with other things. You'd never be like, girl, you need to stop working out.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's like.
So think about how you would treat somebody else,
Yeah.
and I think we often treat ourselves way worse than we would treat other
Yeah.
people.
That's like not advice we would give anyone.
Yeah.
Now we would sit down. You would maybe now if your friend's super stressed and they're like, I'm trying to train for the CrossFit Open and I'm working out 7 days a week for 3
We'd
hours.
be like, hey, you need to scale back.
Hey, maybe you scale that back.
Yeah. And that's good
But no one would
advice.
be like, you need to stop completely.
Yeah, stop. Just not very good advice. So, just remember that what you would recommend to somebody else, you should recommend to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you clearly do care about other people, and you
Yeah.
need to care about yourself.
Yeah. Could you imagine like you got a dog and you're like, nah, you don't need to go for walks.
Nah.
Nah, you don't need to eat good portioned food.
Yeah. Just
Here, dog, eat these Twinkies and stay in your cage.
yeah. You would never do that. I hope. If you would,
Yeah.
we're gonna fist fight. But
Or kids, right?
yeah.
Ultimately, say your kid is super stressed at school. They got, all these tests coming up. They're 13 years old and their girlfriend broke up with them or boyfriend or whatever. And you want to say, hey, first of all, I feel this stress, kiddo. Why don't you go ahead and cut out everything that you do for yourself, You know how you come home and listen to your favorite album.
Can't do that anymore.
For 30 minutes because it relaxes you. Stop that. You go play sports with your friends.
Cut it out.
Stop that.
Yeah, it's just bad advice.
Now they're just gonna be resentful.
Yep.
They're gonna have some extra time for to study, and they're gonna be like angry
Mm-hmm.
and unfocused.
And unproductive.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think something we also forget is that you can be busy and get nothing done too. And it's how well you use your time. Because, like for a lot of people, we don't have a traditional schedule, but for people that work a 9 to 5, how many hours out of your workday are you truly doing stuff?
Yeah.
And this isn't a knock. It's just, you're stuck there for a period of time and you have no control over that. But how many people work from the beginning of their shift to the end without stopping? There's plenty of time that you're like, I don't have anything to do. Or, maybe you're just kind of putzing around because it doesn't matter when you get your stuff done. So or some people might get done in 4 hours and they're like, yeah, I'm already done with my job. I got nothing to do. So it's how well you use your time as well. Not just, how busy you are, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And a lot of times what happens is the things we have no control over end up overwhelming us and push everything else out, right? Because we end up dwelling on the no control. So like you can watch the news and freak out, other people's thoughts and actions, and then we have some control over things like our schedule, our health routine, our home environment, our support team. So these are the things you almost want to start to double down on. Well, wait a second. Let me really look at my schedule. Let me really look at my fitness routine. And maybe it does need dialing back or dialing forward. Who's supporting me? Who's the team around me? And then ultimately the things you have your total control over, which is your priorities, your mindset, your actions, and your effort. So like Will was saying, a lot of times it's not that we need more time to do these other responsibilities. Maybe we can put in more effort in the time we already give them, right? Instead of just doubling back on our health routine, right? To create more time for this other thing when it ends up just being the same effort spread out, but now we're sacrificing ourselves.
Yeah. It's all about quality.
Mm-hmm.
Quality over quantity for a lot of things, workouts, how you spend your time, what you do, do you scroll social media? Do you not? So thinking about that too, quality of your workout could be like, how effective was I in getting all the right things done? Or how much time did I spend just kind of like,
Yeah.
scrolling on my phone or doing a bunch of stuff that I didn't technically need to do. And that can apply to, anything. It could apply to how you cook. If you're spending 2 hours cooking dinner, there could be a way simpler option, and you can spend that time better so you can have time elsewhere as well. So realize where you can have that give and take somewhere in your day.
Yep. And when it comes down to your specific workout, realize it's not so much even what are you getting out of that specific workout. Even if your mind's not there, again, it's that you're keeping that habit, and that it does typically lead to your eating stays better than it would be with no exercise. And then, again, that leads to good sleep, right? So it's this cascade of events and these habits, these keystone habits that you're keeping intact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you just go through the motions 2 times a week, it's
still
powerful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's, we really push that at the gym with all of our members, in that showing up is probably the most important part in the long run. And I know there will probably be some bros that disagree with me, and that's fine.
Yep.
But showing up is really number one. Whatever you have to offer for the day, that's number 2. Whether that be this is going to be my best workout ever, I feel the best I've ever felt, or I'm literally just trying to check this box, I'm going to do the movements for the day and just give whatever I have and then leave. And that's fine, and the consistency is really what matters over time for your your mental health, your physical health, all of that.
Yeah. And having your fitness, your health practices in place typically will make you feel more in control.
Yes.
And if you listen to our podcast with Amanda, you'll see for me that's like a main thing.
That's you, man.
Right? So in reality, if other responsibilities are going crazy, and I was to cut out self-care, I'd be feeling wacky, right? No control.
Dude, yes.
And it's important, again, to realize health, fitness, self-care is super all-encompassing and a big spectrum. And when you knock out those keystone habits, it knocks out all those dominoes behind it.
You're kind of kicking out a leg from underneath yourself, really. So, just check in with, when you do hit a stressful situation or a busy period of the year. I know some people's work gets busy during certain times of the year. Dialing back will probably help you, maintain your sanity and your health through that stressful time better than stopping doing anything physical would. And I think it's just realizing that and not shutting down. Because a lot of times when any of us get overwhelmed, it is easy to just shut off, right? Because then we don't have to deal with anything at all. We just shut down. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to make a decision. It's just done. But, I think dialing back is always going to be the way to go.
Yeah. And it's just realizing you can't be 100% focused, present, quality for something for hours and hours on end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you dial back, and we have an episode on this of kind of minimum effective dose, but even if you go back to, I'm going to do 2 45-minute walks a week, obviously it's walking, right? It's not like you're going to end up in the Olympics, but the important thing is you are putting aside this block of time for yourself. And that's going to help give you a sense of control, and maybe then, again, keep the dominoes standing up so that now your nutrition doesn't fall and your sleep doesn't fall. And you're again, taking this self-care and this time to recharge and re-energize and kind of maintain that control.
Yeah, because you still have a movement practice. It's just shifted a little bit, right? You're walking, where it may have been lifting weights before, you're still at least doing something.
And carving out that time.
Carving out the time for yourself, which is, I think, probably the most important aspect of this for, the long term.
Yeah, it's a recharge, And then you can be at your best when you're doing your other responsibilities in life. Because taking care of yourself is a responsibility. And again, we may be biased, but it's the most important one because
I agree.
It helps you be at your best for everything else. So there we go.
Don't forget about yourself.
To parlay off of our
Priorities.
prioritizing.
I think it was a good little slide from last episode to this one.
And now we know we got to, in the future, do
Marketing.
No. What's the one we came up with early on? We got to write it down. We're going to have to listen to
I'm
the
going to
podcast.
listen to the thing again. The good thing I go through and listen to it. We'll be all right.
Oh, man.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, that's what we got today for you.
Yeah, just a quick little snippet, a little snack.
Hopefully it hits home.
Yeah, and hopefully it's just a good reminder for everybody that when times do get a little tough or feel crazy, you can still maintain what you're doing, even if you got to slow it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it was food marketing.
Food marketing, yeah.
When you said marketing, I was thinking of like, what is this, a business
Ads.
podcast? Like, are we going to do a Facebook ad podcast?
Yes.
Marketing?
We're just going to
billboards?
pivot to a
Yeah.
completely new podcast.
Food marketing.
Nah,
So-
that'll be I think that one will need a lot of research, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're out there buying Twinkies so we can take pictures of the labels.
Oh,
Research. This is research.
Gluten-free snacks,
Yeah.
some keto snacks.
Steak with gluten-free on the packaging.
They do have that.
All right.
Some people don't know.
Well, as always, thanks for listening.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.